Welcome to the BigCheese Podcast and the last BigCheese Podcast.
Yes,
we're just going to come out there right away.
We're gonna lay the hammer down. It has now been 2 months, 2 years and 8 months that we've launched the BigCheese Podcast, and it feels like an appropriate time for us to transition into different things. My take is that AI has become kind of a tool, and it's like having a podcast about a hammer over and over and over again. Amazing things that you can do with AI, and I'm now pressuring Sean and Jacob here that there now needs to be a crafted specific podcast that Sean's going to tell us about right now.
I don't know what. We used to have a podcast before COVID.
I know.
It's called The Digital Craft.
Yes. And that name I think is now taken, unfortunately.
Of course it is.
But yes, you have to do this.
It's all good. Hey, but yes. I mean, obviously we're in crafted studios right now. We have been, the podcast, we built the podcast because we were so excited about something that had never been done before.
Right. Completely novel.
And we beat that shit out of it for 2.5 years. Right. We beat it to death.
Yeah.
We got all the way to the forefront of, and we learned a lot in the process. We learned how to learn about AI. We learned how to implement it. We learned how other people were thinking about it, whether it was marketing, software development, literally mathematics, data, anything. And I think we did it mostly to kind of like invigorate our own learning.
100%.
Get to know each other.
Right.
And it was fun.
It was. Yeah.
We learned how to podcast.
Yeah, I was just telling Brandon before the show, I was like, the podcast was great, but the best thing I got out of it was like just the prep, learning how to articulate a thought and like thinking through like, well, I can't imagine how far behind I would be right now from just not AI is the thing, but like just the act of learning every week and like dedicating time to be like, okay, what are we going to talk about? How are we going to talk about it? What are my actual thoughts on the thing? And because I'm going to go on camera and talk about it, so like
I need to pretend that I have any idea what the hell's going on.
And I think that there's only so far this can go right now because the frontier models have gotten so good, but the incremental, improvements and we're just seeing the resulting technology. So where the podcast ends is this. AI is now embedded into everything.
Right.
And it's more now about the applications of AI and learning specific domains, technologies. You see these companies that are trying to actually solve problems that they could never solve before. And honestly, AI is there as an accelerant, but there's the domain specific knowledge that they're bringing to those tools that that's really the next generation. Claude's always going to be there for me. Right. But I actually have to get smart on the vernacular and the domains that I'm bringing to Claude.
Right.
So no longer is it really about an AI problem for me. The tool set and the tool chain is built, and it's like, what do you do with it?
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. So I'd say 100% in that same exact boat is now, okay, all the tools are there. Now, how do I actually apply this to all the things that I want to do? Right. Like for me, it's always been about new and novel, right? The new and novel shit's always going to get my attention. And AI obviously was that. But now it's like it's just there. And so we just use it. And so I'm using it for like video production. I'm using it for recipe generation. Like I'm using it for all these things. But now it's like, what do I actually want to do with my life versus it being about AI? And now it's about what do I want to do? And I'm going to be empowered by AI. And that part I think is exciting. And even just like the clients that I've worked with is seeing some of them kind of transition into this same kind of realm. Farm Bureau, who I've talked about 1,000 times on this show. Funny enough, I found out they got nominated for a Miro Award because of the AI lab thing that I built them. Funny enough, that AI lab, which was their like internal AI chatbot thing that I built, was 100% because of when BigCheese was originally built. Like how to actually build. I mean, that was now 3 years ago. That when you and I first talked about it was a internal chatbot that you could use, and we built that. Then I built it for them, and that thing's now got 3,000 users on it internally at that place.
That's
so
amazing.
it's amazing.
Yeah, and Big Cheese, for a refresher, was kind of this MOE of like agents, I think ahead of its time.
Yeah.
But I also think like we've all identified that building development tools is tough.
Oh,
right?
God,
like,
horribly.
We knew, and I was just telling them at lunch, like I built a little 11 Labs. So 11 Labs is trying to do some dubbing or whatever, but like the frontier models are actually better at pre-processing than specific models being built at these pretty big companies. So it's amazing where we've come from. Like I remember when a client came in and was like, I want to use, it was ChatGPT 3.5 maybe,
Right.
when it was like the first one that was actually pretty good.
Right.
He wanted to write emails. And it's funny today, that was probably 2 years ago. That would be possible today. 2 years ago, it really wasn't.
Right.
It was
Right.
like kind of
Yep.
like a shitty version was possible.
And also, I think that we got, we being where we were through this journey, we also saw people chasing,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like there was a lot, like the evolution of AI native products really started with that. Oh, we can generate text from prompts. So now we're going to write all your content.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, right. I think the thing that really stuck was writing code.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And-
The ability for them to be able to also use the local computers, I think was a critical thing that they've added, where we don't need to be sending everything up to the LLM. We can actually have tooling happening on the device itself. That's where the CLIs really kind of crushed it, is that I can do awk, I can do all this stuff, and I can find things and only send up just the little bit. Give me the first 10% of every file versus every file. And that's where like that game change happened with the development side. I never would have expected that the development side would have been the thing that kind of won out versus even marketing, right? Like again, the marketing stuff is still, I mean, you can do it, but
Yeah, and again, like all of them, yeah, I agree. Coding's the best so far, but you still need an expert, or it still helps to have an
Yeah,
expert.
maybe it's just because I'm good at coding
Yeah,
or you're good
right.
at coding that we think the coding's the best application.
Well, but
someone
no.
who's a genetics expert might be like, this is great for genome mapping or blah, blah, blah.
So
don't
I
know.
would say that the musicians hate Suno. They hate it.
Oh, I'm sure.
They hate it. And the artists hate OpenAI, Image GPT, whatever the fuck
Well-
it is, Image O2.
Here, I have a theory on that.
All right.
Because music and content are implicitly valuable if they're unique and creative, right? And I know music is like, okay, Sean's in a band. You guys, you're a huge music fan.
Right.
All music is all how many notes and like there's only so many combinations, but it's more about like, you know, your story or like your how can you combine that in a unique fashion that is like
Right.
interesting and trend setting and all that. Suno or any AI is just the mean of music. So content, I think it was Search Engine Journal put out like, okay, all this AI generated content gets you an initial spike, and then eventually Google finds out like, and that's just like mid content. That's like, okay, but you can find all that in a chatbot. Why would it matter if you surfaced it on a web page, right?
Well,
So,
even the word content is like,
oh, I kind of
like-
hate it, but yeah.
well, like think about it. Like when marketers talk about content, what are they really talking about? They're talking about some bullshit that's out there that's trying to get someone else to do a thing.
Right.
Like, does a writer that writes a book or like
Today-
a long form article say this is my content? No, they're like, this is my piece. This is my article. There's like a progression, right? That happens when you're creating stuff. And I think if you're just saying, I'm just pushing out content, it's because the content is a means to try to do something and have some human behavior exist because of it.
I'm glad you said that, because that's why I think coding is good, because the base of coding is blocks. That it doesn't matter how unique the connector is. What matters is like the UI and the way you're communicating the idea. Not coding in general is basic, but it's like there's all this like foundational stuff that we didn't really need to be artisans around, right? There's no value in like recreating a controller that goes and fetches users and blah, 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 blah,
Right.
to do that a unique way. Like we've already solved that problem. we're just now surfacing that solution more mainstream, right?
Right.
But there's still we talk about I like the term last mile. Still incredibly important, and it's where humans should be involved so that we can add value and create actually unique solutions that solve real problems we're having today versus, just reinventing the wheel 13 times. And,
well, that's why you've seen App Store submissions are up like 10,000%.
Is
But
it?
App Store revenue's down.
Yeah.
And so it's...
Oh, no shit.
Because people are
generating-
creating more things than ever. And that's kind of my point, is people are creating more things than ever. But it's not actually moving the needle in human behavior. Like from a mass production level, like people are pushing out apps like they'd push out blog posts.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Right. And so
Jesus, So I think there's a very deep concept in what you just said there, right? The idea that people are now producing apps like they would with a blog post. Because before we would just write a blog post, just throw it out there. It could be sloppy. Didn't really care because it's not like its own journalistic endpoint or whatever. But now I can do the same exact thing for apps. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of these kind of apps that are coming out. They do have a lot of shit in them, even mainstream apps, right? We see Facebook. I don't know if you guys see the bugs in Facebook, but like the bugs in Facebook have just exponentially gotten worse, like where shit just doesn't work. And yeah, I mean, at all. Like, so I've been selling some shit on the marketplace. And where like or it will the two things. So you can't mark things as pending like that, just like, which seems like a very important fucking step, right? Like you have to be able to do that. But then the other one is they start promoting shit. They promote my own shit to myself, and it's like, hey, Brandon Corbin, you might find this interesting by Brandon Corbin because he posted this thing. I'm like, why are you posting the same shit to me? But I think that's kind of what we're seeing.
Well,
there.
I think Facebook is a really interesting company right now because they didn't actually they haven't done well in the AI race. Right. They're using AI to write code poorly. They're huge code base. They have, they're a really big company. But their operation was misguided over the last couple of years. They built the metaverse and it failed.
Yeah.
And I think that you look at other companies and you're like, they're looking at it and they're going, what can we really do with AI? And what can we really do now?
Right.
And Facebook's looking at it from Mark Zuckerberg with a magnifying glass over us like a fucking ant with the sun behind it, right? Right? That's their culture,
100%.
right? Their company has gone through massive layoffs. They have the worst morale of any company out there. But then there's companies like, this is what I was going to drop on you, is like Midjourney.
Yeah.
Midjourney just came out with a product that's going to do cheap, like extremely high fidelity 3D body scans of your body. They're getting into the medical industry.
What?
Yes.
So I can
all
scan
that
my
work
body
that they
and they're
did
going to
with
tell me
imaging.
my fatness is.
There's companies out there now that are like, you know what? Let's go solve some crazy shit. Right. And that's where I think why we're turning the page. It's like, does Midjourney
have their own models? They have to, right? They
yeah,
were like one of the early,
they have image generation models.
Yeah, they're models, but they've been so like.
But inside that discipline,
right,
they figured something else out.
Okay.
Right, they figured out something they're trying to be truly transformational with, and we know that like it's 2026, guys. Twitter came out in 2004, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Or no, it was at Facebook. I think 2007, 2008,
right.
Twitter came out.
Right.
But like Snapchat, blah, blah, blah. Snapchat guy came out with his glasses.
The 26.
They look terrible,
Right.
right? But like those, like it's almost like what happened in Indy. Like people still trying to live the MarTech world.
Yeah.
That stuff is 5 years gone bye-bye.
Right.
It's the companies now that are saying, we're going to go do something really, really, like that's really transformational and going to affect this world different than who's building the next X, who's building the next Instagram.
You called it X this time. That's good.
Did I?
You called it Twitter before.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Facebook's not, unless like they're not, are they really, their mission has never really been to, do anything besides connect everybody and make money off.
Do they have a CLI for like a Claude Code thing? Like, do they force all their developers to use fucking Llama like 4 or whatever the fuck it is?
I have no idea.
I bet they do, and that's probably why their morale is dog shit.
And so what else is going on, right? Silicon Valley is being driven. Like if you look at the startups, Y Combinator, it's all of these agentic replace human businesses that have services associated with them.
Right.
So you got the future is like applied AI. Okay, so how are you going to apply it? You're going to apply it by removing humans. Okay, cool. Go to Y Combinator, buy one of their agentic startups, right? But then there's other people that are like, you know what? Let's just cure cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, solve a problem. Let's solve a problem. And maybe that's where the future is. Is it's very specifically, like you're saying, is go after a problem, and we're going to laser focus on. Because like right now, you can see Scam Altman, by the way, which is still the best fucking title ever. You can see he's still trying to get to this idea of generalized intelligence that can solve all the problems. And that's great, but it's complete masturbatory.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just like, oh, we're going to do this. I promise. We're going to keep saying this. I promise it's going to happen. No, like the people who are going after a very specific thing of saying, hey, we're going to solve this type of cancer.
Yeah.
We're going to use this. We're going to use this. Those are the people that are going to really make an impact.
Yeah. And I also think like the opportunities, I agree, like everyone's been chasing generalized, blah, 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 blah. Like the opportunities are probably to reduce costs to solve problems that were not economically possible before by experts who are already good at solving those problems. So like if you've got a big company that would not, Google is a good example of like, they kill projects all the time because there's no economics behind it, right?
Yep.
If it doesn't move the needle on their balance sheet, you know,
which sucks because their balance sheet's huge.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, but it probably should free up, and maybe they still won't do it, but there's probably an opportunity for startups to solve bigger problems with less.
100%.
That wasn't really, there was no model or
they just can't. They can't go after it because there's no benefit for them monetarily. Yeah, that's where the startups can absolutely go. And then get bought by Google.
Yeah. Well, of course. Yeah, once they've proven that they can make money and it's safe.
Right.
Sure, that's like the whole ecosystem.
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt that I guess there's a path forward right now where you're either going for this you call it generalized AI. I think the future is human domain expertise using AI.
Yep.
And right now, too many companies are going after, I don't want to build these tools and processes. I just want to throw my problem up to the reasoning model and come back with an answer. And unfortunately, businesses, including things that really affect your life, are going to be stuck in this infinite loop of trying to figure out when the frontier model is going to be able to do it all for you.
Yeah.
And that's too expensive. Yep. That's what those data centers are being built for, right?
Data centers right now account for like 4 to 6% of electricity use, and by 2030, it's estimated they're going to be like, I don't know, 20-30% of
in Indiana, it's already crazy amounts.
Yeah, because fucking Braun is just blowing everybody who wants to bring AI to Indianapolis. But the problem with all of these is that they're all building these damn data centers right now for the current architecture.
Right.
And what happens, there's never been a data center that's been built that has then be decommissioned, broken down, and allowed nature to grow back up. Never happened. So what's going to happen is we're going to have all of these huge ass big old warehouses, just like we did during the .com bubble, that they're going to build all this shit on very efficient architectures, and that's why we need all this shit. And then when it's all said and done, what do we have? We've got malls.
Well, I think that there's a huge amount of wealth. The people don't understand how much wealth there is in this country, sitting in people's 401ks and retirement accounts.
Right.
And we had to go somewhere.
Fucking a data center,
right? It had to go somewhere.
Space.
So I mean, let's say that. So there's 4 companies, right, that are driving the market, the Dow 30 or whatever. They're all tech companies.
Yeah.
So all these big iBanks and they have these humongous bajillion. I mean, you got funds, you got this, you got the money has to go somewhere. And so if they're not pushing this narrative of growth, right, then it doesn't. I mean, those data centers, a lot of those data center projects aren't even moving forward right now. They're like funded, the land's bought, some shit got turned, but like they're not doing anything.
In Indiana?
Everywhere.
Really?
Yes. And what's going on is it's the market is chasing growth so that people keep their money and they keep making their cash.
Right.
Yep. And they keep deriving their returns. Right. And they keep it out of just, cash on the side. So, I mean, I think that look at what happened. SpaceX is valued more than Apple right now?
So
SpaceX went IPO'd a couple days ago, and I think their market cap at one point hit more than Apple.
I saw on the Reddit that it crashed, but again, that's Reddit, and they just would love to see Elon just shit the bed.
Well, the crash. Okay, the thing about Reddit is like
is that no one has any money on that.
They're all a bunch of broke poor bitches.
If you go to Wall Street bets, so like S&P or S&P 500 might be up like 10% so far this year. If there's a 1% correction, which there was yesterday, like 1.5 or something, and it's up a percent today, last I checked, everyone is Chicken Little about like, oh, it's crashing. They don't know what a fucking crash is.
Right.
Because like a crash is a minor correction.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't even call it that.
If you zoom in enough on any chart, you'll
like,
see a crash.
1.5% in a day.
They can do that. They can change the fucking y-axis, and you go,
look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 3 cents.
Now, again, I did that though. I fell for it 100% because again, I want Elon to fail, which is ridiculous, right? Like it's so stupid, but it's like this guttural thing. I didn't like what he did with Doge. I didn't like what he does with his fucking X. I don't like any of that stuff, which sucks because the guy does have an opportunity to make a huge impact in the country and to do some amazing shit. But at this point, I'm so soured by his person that I want him to fail.
Oh, yeah.
And that's sick. And I know that.
Yeah. And it's up.
What's
up
it at?
1% today.
What's the number?
Well, what do you want? SpaceX?
Yeah,
Sorry,
SpaceX.
I was looking at the S&P 500. But yeah, SpaceX is a ridiculous valuation for what it actually is.
What did it open at? Do you know?
I mean, it IPO'd.
It's down 6.7% today.
Okay.
But it's up 32.5% since its IPO at 135.
And most retail investors couldn't even really get in at that
I
IPO.
didn't even try.
No, because
Even after it IPO'd, like you could not, on Robinhood, you couldn't even get it right away. They slowly started dripping it to where the open market had enough shares.
That is the problem with this whole concept of free market that like all the normies want to pretend that we actually have here.
Right.
We don't have a free market. We have a very tiered market where everybody who's going to have access to this IPO is going to be all the institutional investors first, and then everybody else you're eventually going to be able to participate. But let's not pretend that this is a quote unquote free fucking market.
Well, and we'll go ahead, Jacob.
I was just going to say, like, it's this whole idea of like, it's basically trickle down economics, but in the market where it's like, so there will be some winners from IPOs and things like that. But at the end of the day, like, it's a huge transfer of wealth of like, this is all a huge Ponzi scheme taking away from retail investors. Now, if you can be smart enough and make a little bit of money in the market, which there are plenty of people that can do that.
Right.
But I firmly believe that all of these moves are in the interest of the institutions.
So before we get on, you were talking about this over at Baker Fields, that you've given Claude access to your Robinhood.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. I'm going to go tonight. I'm going to check to see if Codex has a Robinhood thing because I'm going to fucking do it. I'll throw $1,000 in there and just be like, all right, go fucking to town and just see what happens.
Just make sure it doesn't have margin investing enabled.
No, like I'm going to let it do it again. Bad plan. Like I like the idea of just because again we can turn it into content. Worst case, but how long have you been doing that?
Just a week. So I enabled it a week ago, and I haven't funded anything in my Agentic account.
Okay, so Robinhood now has the concept of an Agentic account that you can basically say, hey, you can have up to this much money within here to go and do whatever the crazy
trades
shit
free
you
on
want.
Robinhood?
Yeah. That's the whole, like, Robinhood, when it came out, its entire thing was commission-free trades. And the way they got around that was, like, your pricing is slightly less advantageous, and like they're making profits on the margins. They're just all on the margins of like the spreads that they provide, I guess. But
and so you did say though that one of the things that it gave you advice on, you actually did listen to.
I did, yeah,
and it panned out for you.
Yeah. So one thing that I struggle with, I think a lot of investors do, is like analysis paralysis of like, all right, big picture, what do I got? I'm a very aggressive trader, and I was like heavy in on now services. So my thesis was like a lot of these SaaS companies were beat down early in the year. Everything was down 30-40% in general, and there's going to be a couple of winners. I picked Now because I think they have
ServiceNow.
ServiceNow.
Right.
And I was right at the time. I was like, okay, cool. And I was up really big, but I was highly leveraged into that stock,
All right.
both with contracts, calls, and stock. And I was like, hey, Claude, tell me what you think I should do given I'm up X and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, oh, God, this is a big part of your portfolio. What I would do is I would take my winnings, which is what I kind of was already thinking, but it was nice to like talk through with Claude to be like, here's kind of what I'm thinking.
Right.
So I sold, I executed my contracts, and it went down like huge 2 days later. I was like, wow, I'm glad I took money off the table.
Right.
Right. And it's easy for me to give that advice when it's someone else, but I have kind of a blind spot for my own account. Right.
Right.
But that's what am interested in is like learning more about like my history. And I like talk through like, okay, historically my trades, what's working, what's not. And it's like, oh, you do a lot of short-term blah, blah, blah. That hasn't worked for you historically. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Dude, see, that's where I think that's where AI, for me personally, AI has become kind of my executive functioner, right? Like, again, I struggle with executive function, just being ADHD.
I don't think you have it. Just kidding.
No, I've got none. I've
You're
got
like
no,
me.
yeah, exactly. And so it allows me to just basically offload a lot of that to that. So one of my examples was, and we were just talking about this, is the if this then that, which was like one of the original automated tools back in the day. And there was like pick your own price, and so I'm like $2.99 a month. They're like, all right. So I realized that I've been paying $2.99 a month for 24 months, and I'm like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. So I kill it, not realizing that I was using it to basically take my sleep data and send it over to my Nomi app, which I use to track all my stuff. And so I'm like, oh shit. So I either have to go back to if this and that and put it, set it back up, or I can just go to Codex. And I go to Codex and I'm like, hey, here's how I actually called Nomi. And again, I didn't even give it a whole lot of instruction. Just basically said, here's exactly how this works. And then I'm going to give you full computer access and go log into WeThing, which is what I use for my sleep tracking, and go to the website, look at the website, extract all the data, and just start tracking that Nomi. And it did it. Now, again, a couple of mistakes that it was like, oh, hey, you need to have this kind of thing turned on for your computer to be able to access this shit. But now I just replace if this and that with one automation. Same thing with any of these automation tools. Like I think all automation tools are probably going to be gone. Like there was a one of these typical probably fake tweets, but I don't think it was fake. It was some guy in Silicon Valley that he had his agents, his OpenClaw booked a car riding service for him to go to the airport. And it just proactively did it. He was like, great. The car was there. He got in the car and the guy that was driving the car was like, yeah, this is my own service. And I wrote it myself and it's optimized just for agent discovery. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So this guy was not he was not an Uber driver. He was not a Lyft driver. He had Claude figure out how to get OpenClaw agents to hail rides from him. And he built it himself.
Nice.
That is so fucking beautiful. That is so amazing. And that's the kind of power I think that AI is going to give these people that like never would have been builders originally, who now are going to come in and they're going to bring a different perspective that we never would have thought of. And it will just be like, oh my God, my dad predicted back in the 90s, my dad, for whatever reason, my dad's always been good at kind of trend analysis. And he was like, there's going to be some kid who's going to figure out this technology and you're going to have an 8-year-old millionaire. And I'm like, you're crazy. An 8-year-old millionaire. Like, and again, think this is like 96 that we're probably talking about this. And sure as shit, though, the internet comes out and you now have kids that are doing reviews on YouTube who are making millions of fucking dollars.
But you look at that example, though, right? That guy does a thing.
Yeah.
He already did the thing. Mm-hmm. He wanted to do the thing.
Right.
But he used AI and the agentic layer of computing that now exists to his advantage, right? I think that there's still so many people, especially in our region, that are just still thinking about it from a traditional I provide software to you as a service.
Yep.
And that's how I deliver my business.
Well, you guys already mentioned this earlier about like service enablement inside of software. I think that's a huge opportunity. But I saw something on Reddit that was like, I built a resume builder, blah, 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 SaaS. And it's because he's applying for jobs and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
And that's cool. But it's like, okay, who is actually doing work and finding ways to do it better using the tooling? That's who's
people build that tool and then they think that because they built it and used it for themselves, that anyone else is going to use it. I can't even get our developers to use the tools that I built for myself inside our own company. We were having this conversation. I got my Jira Claude and he's got, Carpathy, Andrea, he built his thing. And it's like, people are like, yeah, I mean, that's cool, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And like, what are you going to do? Scale that? You're going to scale your SaaS?
Well, the problem is like we're building these tools that solve our problems.
Right.
And my problem is slightly different than your problem. So
that's where it gets. I think that's what happens is that AI is going to enable us to where you're building software to solve it very specifically for me. Because for me, like Nomi for me was I built it for me. Like I want to open an app, I want to click a button, I want to put in a thing, and I want to close it. And so a lot of people found that worked, but a lot of people found that it didn't work.
Well, that's the whole thing, guys. Because there's a reason why no one's adopting these fucking tools. It's because they're like, whoa, I'm using AI. And I just want to use it the way I want to use it.
It's much more about my personal experience. Yeah, 100%.
It could be anything. They're like, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be able to figure this out now. Like, I'm not sure I want to be tying my cart to your toe here,
right?
Because that takes a sense of control away from me, and that's interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
So that's why people are building stuff that's just specifically for them. Why? Because they can iterate on it their own. So like when we look at for developer tools for our developers, it's probably a situation where we go, you should build a Jira integration.
Do it yourself.
Build your own fucking. I built mine.
Whichever one works too.
I totally agree with that because like one of our clients, they have a very good workflow of like pretty good tickets that can be executed. My client that I'm working on doesn't have that. They're literally half the tickets are like I have to go into 6 different accounts and figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, so I'm not bolting on my thing for that thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I totally agree with you. The challenge isn't like build the tool so everyone can use. Like build a tool that works for your workflow and challenge people to do that.
Yep.
Because that's what's happening is. I built the wedding planner seating app that took me 2 days and it worked just fine to get my job done. Now I thought about productizing it and the more I thought about it, I'm like,
I don't want to.
You don't want to.
Dude, here's another thing, and I don't want to switch topics, but knowledge ownership is a real problem now. Okay. So like we have client A that thinks that they have a problem. And they go and they talk to AI about that problem. They get real attached to whatever the hell comes out of it.
Right.
And they build a remedial amount of knowledge about something they never understood before.
Yep.
And like we come as experts and go, yeah, okay. Sorry. When they get like, they're like,
but I spent time talking about AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I spent time with this. Mm-hmm. Acknowledge the fact that my slop is valuable.
Well, yeah, and I think we're seeing this a lot too, where like the managers, the people who don't know how work is done, are seeing these outputs that they're generating from AI, and they're like, "That's pretty good."
Right.
That report was good. That slide was good. That research was good. But the people who are actually doing this work are like, "That's not very good."
Right.
So there's a disconnect between the people who are doing the work and the people who are overseeing the work. So we probably need the people who are overseeing to get more connected with the doers.
Yes.
And we probably need the doers to be taking over those tasks.
But I think that's just good business practice.
Right.
That's just like going back to just the rudimentary of how a business works. Mm-hmm. As a manager, you need to know the pain points that people are going through, what are they doing, the shortcuts they're doing, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Oh, I was in a meeting the other day, and this happens all the time. My title is CTO, and people hear that, and they think what a CTO is, right? Hands off. I'm supposed to just know the highest of level, only the biggest of problems. And I was like, yeah, I'm helping someone, mentoring a kid who's building a product and helping him make decisions. They were like, wow, that's mighty nice of you as the CTO to be done. I'm like, that's critical for me because we have 14 people.
Right.
And I need to know what they're doing, what problems they're running into.
Yes.
Not because I need to write the code, but because I need to have my ear to the ground and be like, what is actually going on? Is that the same for a company that has 500 people? No, it looks a little different.
Sure.
But they do need to be plugged into how work is actually getting done
100%.
at some level, or else they're going to wake up and be making really, really bad decisions based off of what they think it used to be 15 years ago.
That's going to happen, and it's going to be fucking catastrophic. I mean, the amount of people that are going to still continue to make bad decisions because they refuse to embrace what we've got now is going to be horrifying.
So I think I'll throw this out there. I think that it's 2.5 years, almost 3 years later. I think that ineffective people are even more ineffective now.
Oh shit. That's actually a fucking brilliant statement. So AI could very well elevate the people who are successful, like are driven, what they can rock star. But the ineffective people are going to become even more ineffective because they're going to do what all those lazy ass lawyers who went and used ChatGPT to go make their cases, and they come up and they start talking and making arguments against cases that don't exist. And the judges are like, what the fuck are you even talking about?
I think that I see it. There's people that are really effective at certain things and really ineffective at other things.
Right.
I've got a specific client who's really effective at building technology, very ineffective at writing and communication. Doing great here, trying to do great here.
Right.
Sloppy McSlopperson, just right away. Like the strategy doc that got created. Did you read it?
Yeah.
They don't value it.
No.
Well, how long do you think it is going to be where we have a course correction? Because I was mentioning the enshittification of software, but we have the enshittification of our work, our deliverables right now. And like on the surface, a lot of these things that are getting generated look really good. You take a glance and
100%.
I think that my outputs are better than they ever have been. But I would also challenge as we're reviewing things, is that true, or does it just appear to look better? Is it just tricking me because I'm too dumb to realize it's actually not any better?
Right.
And I think that's happening everywhere. And we're pretty good pattern recognition. That's what humans do, recognize the pattern. So how long is it going to take for us to realize, actually, we shouldn't take everything at face value.
Yeah.
Actually, I do need to spend, and we've talked about this a lot, of okay, if a task used to take me an hour and now it takes me 2 minutes, maybe take 15 minutes to review it.
Review it. There's an idea.
But because they don't like it, they're not good at it, they don't like it, they get this what is that, endorphin release, or, this oh yeah, I did the thing, I'm done.
I mean, I'm not exempt from it. I think early this week, I had something come through on Friday. They're like, this is really important. It's revenue impacting. We got to get this strategy, or we have to get these docs together and this whole thing. And first thing Monday, I already had it figured out. I was like, I'm going to get this, boom, 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 boom. Put it together, came up with some data, got the whole thing basically done. Yeah. Right. And it was money. Right. But then when they were about to send it out, they noticed 3 things in there that were not great. And I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I got that done. And it was, honestly, we killed it and we beat the deadline by 2 days.
Right.
But if I would have gone through that thing with a fine tooth comb, this thing was built by AI.
Yep.
I edited it myself, 100%, went through it, edited it myself, but missed a sentence that said something that was wrong.
Right.
And it's that'll happen.
Exactly.
That'll happen.
Dude, the amount of times that happens where people just kind of brush it off. They're like, that's not a problem. And it's no, it's a very foundational problem. And this is why when I would get into certain arguments with certain people here in town where they're like, AI can just do everything that you need it to do. I'm like, maybe it can do it.
See, I think that's the biggest problem right now. It can't.
No.
And I think there's people that are so far down the path that they're chasing AGI
Right.
with their entire business model.
Well, no, and one of those individuals is a person who's building, police technology that is used to basically be able to monitor, communications from police from jails to their people.
Did you hear that he came at me at the Elevate event?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Well, I think we talked about it. Did we not?
Oh, I don't know. No, like this one. No, last week.
No.
So we're all up there on the panel with the ground game guy and this HR person. And basically, he just completely shat on the entire event. He goes, what do you think about actually ever needing employees anymore? I run a business that has no employees and I don't need employees anymore. And everyone was just like, blah. And I think I was the only one that said anything.
Yeah.
And I was just basically like, I guess the market will see.
Yeah.
If my company that has employees can communicate with, can compete with your company that has zero.
I agree. I heard that and I was like, it was weird because he was like, I don't need anybody because AI solved every problem. Why do we need anybody ever? And I was like, you said it right. You were basically like, it may be working for you, which is, you're not denying that. It could totally be working for some people in certain situations or whatever. But like, that doesn't mean we're ready to carte blanche replace everybody. Nor should we ever.
So let me make this perfectly fucking clear. Is the software that this guy is building is to monitor communications from people who are calling their family from fucking jail to then be able to identify things that we could go after them for legality, for like to because they said this, and this, and this. So he's literally building prison software. And he is completely fine saying that AI can fucking do everything. I can't stop thinking I've had to disconnect everything. I've had to mute him. I've had to do everything because it pisses me off at such a foundational level of my fucking being.
There's companies that are doing the same thing with deciding if you're going to nuclear bomb someone.
Right.
I mean, not necessarily true, but deciding if an insurance claim is going to be resolved. 100%. Those are the real. If we have one warning statement to give to the world after 2.5 years, it's that AI is not a deterministic technology.
No.
Given the same input, it may give two different outputs.
100%.
So there is no way you can completely leave up critical life-saving decisions to a reasoning model. Right. Not to mention that the inputs required to get even a 90 to 80% accuracy response are so token expensive that it just burns the goddamn world and furnishes our rivers into ash. Right. That it's not a good strategy.
Yeah.
AI has a specific slice of this pie. It is not the pie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's totally irresponsible to believe, or like the hubris you must have to think that it's going to solve these problems just blankly or black box. Sean and I were with a client this week and we're trying to figure out how AI can help make their processes better. And the first thing that we went to was not AI. I think there's a place for AI, and I think we identified some places where AI could help. But 9 times out of 10, it's a fundamental process and how you are taking the information in.
Yeah, it was the front end intake issue.
Exactly.
Yeah, and what you're in. Sure, there are things that OCR has existed for a long time,
totally.
Right? There's definitely ways that we can be more efficient, and this isn't AI is the worst or AI is the best.
Right.
It's just, can we all just agree that there's a time and a place?
Exactly.
And
dude, so I had one of my bigger clients, same thing, where they wanted to have kind of a single view of the customer. And all of this technology, everybody's building these different prototypes to basically pull all this information and is using AI for all of this stuff. And I came up with a solution that was just using UI to basically be able to show. I was like, hey, if you can get this and you can do this and we can just show it all here. There's no AI needed. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like, well, no, but we're doing this. And the whole point of this is to use AI. And I'm like, I get it. But sometimes there's an instance where you don't actually need AI.
I just got a table router a couple weeks ago, and I was trying to figure out how I could do something with a table router, and it ended up being that I could do it with that, but it was better to use the table saw.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, there you go. It's the same thing. It's I have this tool, I have to use it. I gotta use it.
Exactly.
And it was actually, there's a better tool for that. But I don't know, man. It's just fine because right now, it's the thing that everyone's reaching for, and everyone is getting these top-down initiatives that we got to get more efficient, and AI is the only way to do that. Then we just like lost our minds and forgot that.
So
there's other ways.
I would be remiss to not to give Indiana Farm Bureau just the absolute utmost respect for how they've handled using AI within their organization. So again, the not using AI for any of the things that insurance companies would tend to want to use it, but to use it to basically build software faster, to kind of get everybody up to speed, to give everybody better knowledge, but that they're not necessarily sitting there using it to like decline claims. They're not, like they're still like their people is such a critical thing. And I think that that's going to be a unique selling position for these companies.
Well, think about it. You can totally use it to like pre-process and to try to get rid of busy work.
Sure.
The people that have the institutional knowledge for State Farm, for example, they understand, or goddamn it, Farm Bureau. They have the institutional knowledge and the nuance to understand, like, I can listen and see the information and make a better decision.
Yep.
And AI can assist in getting the information and helping them direct them to the solution. But at the end of the day, like, humans know what's going on.
Right.
And I don't care how much context we throw at these things, they're never going to be as good at that aspect as we are, right? And let's just stop pretending like they are, right? But services we're good at. We are good at listening to what people are saying. Right. Okay, what's their tone? How are they? They're pissed off. Well, obviously they're frustrated. Think about all the chatbots, and I'm like sitting there, and I'm just like, they're like, oh, can you try this? Can you try this? I already fucking tried that. Why do you think I'm here? But if I'm on a call with a person, I'm like, look, here's what I tried, X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, okay, you've obviously gone through the shit.
I will eventually get to a point where I will fucking call out people. I'm like, listen, goddamn it. We've been through this enough. But no, same exact thing. Yeah. The human needs to be able to calm me down and to get me kind of going, oh yeah, hey, dude, you're talking to another person, so just quit being a dick.
Exactly. We're all people trying to get shit done. I don't want to be on this call.
We're all people trying to get shit done.
That's
and we have been trying to get shit done for 2.5 years.
Yes.
And it's come to an end. And we appreciate all of our listeners. If you did watch all the way through or listen all the way through, give us a final comment on YouTube. And this is us, I think, signing off for good. My name is Sean Hise. We've got Jacob.
Yep. And I'm Brandon Corbin.
Give Brandon the camera for one final.
And I'm Brandon Corbin. And this is this will be the end of the BigCheese Podcast. It was a great fucking run, baby.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. See you guys.
Yeah.